We've had 2 storage facilities and 2 dealerships recently who have signed up because they thought, well, heck, we'll just incorporate this into our self-storage facility. We've already got our staff that's here overseeing the facility. We'll just incorporate this into what we're doing and we'll make that extra revenue.
We got into, with the entire group, a 20-minute conversation about RVs. And he says, they're awesome renters. They pay more. They usually book for a whole year, even though they might be gone for months, but they know if they don't keep it, they may not have it when they get back, right? So he said they're awesome renters.
I like the idea of a lot of these things because it gives options and opportunities for all the parties. You have a business opportunity, you have an opportunity for a storage facility, you have an opportunity for owners of RVs, and then you have an opportunity for customers, and it really works out nicely.
I was a very successful drug dealer. I ran drug homes, I had runners, I had the whole business plan. I didn't have a COO like I have now, but that actually led into me getting fired from my job for sharing my faith, which shoved me into my entrepreneurial journey with the Lord. And I started a credit counseling business because I had some credit to clean up after I started walking with God. And I learned a lot about credit and settling debts and building credit and all the things. I started a credit counseling company in 2008, which I had no clue that the whole world was crashing down in 2008 when I started a credit counseling company. So I opened the phone book and I'm calling mortgage companies because I want to work with them and all the phone numbers are disconnected. But fast forward, that went really well. Did that for over a decade, authored several books, became a FICO certified expert and credit expert witness and all these different things. Then I bought an RV for my wife for our 10-year wedding anniversary. I thought it was amazing. She wasn't into it. She was 7 months pregnant with number 4. So we're sitting at a campground. She decides she's going home because she's miserable. In my mind's eye, I'm sitting around a campfire, and the marshmallow fell off into the fire because, it's just such a sad picture. And I threw my RV up on Craigslist for rent. And a couple hours later, I've got an inquiry. And a couple days later, I'm renting my friend's RVs. And fast forward to here we are today, 8 years later, and we've got over 55 locations around the country.
Now, remind me again, what year was this that you started?
This was 2016 when I started our RV rental journey.
Okay. And how did you guys meet?
So I met with him in October 23. I was out looking for training on basically doing consignments because the model is like an Airbnb model, or VRBO, but then our rentals are on wheels, right? So, and I found his training. I signed up for his training modules. And at some point, he reached out to me and said, hey, we don't have any locations in Wisconsin. Would you be interested in a branch or a franchise? And basically told him at that point, I need to, do a little more due diligence and look into it. And then about 3 weeks later, we got on a call with my wife and we talked more about it and really connected, not only from a faith perspective, but really just the opportunity was there. And I saw really the opportunity and the potential. And the reality is we quadrupled our business the first year working with Fireside. So it's been exciting going from 12 units to 60 bookings and close to $100,000. So there's so much opportunity. It's hard work, but there's so much opportunity and the model works.
That's awesome. Now, why don't you explain to us the model? So walk us through how the model that you're doing and operating actually functions.
Yeah. So basically what we are is we're a property management company.
Yeah.
And the property that we're managing is an RV on behalf of the owner. What we do is we partner with a storage facility typically, because then we can group the RVs together in a central location. The owners are paying for the storage of the RV. We're operating out of there, very low overhead for a franchisee because your costs are either being covered by the owner as far as maintenance, storage, all that kind of stuff. And then the other side of the business is being covered by the renter as far as if it's being delivered, the cleaning of it, the stocking of it with whatever items that you choose to rent out. And we collect a 50% management fee to do it.
Okay, so they're just renting it out. What platform are they renting their stuff out on? Is that do you even care? How's that work?
Yeah, so basically the owner of the RV, they're giving us possession of the RV. Here's the keys, take it, we're not using it. If they do use it, it's maybe once or twice a year, but it's actually gotten to the point with most of our franchisees where if the owner uses the RV, we probably won't enroll them into the program because there's literally over 12 million RVs sitting around the country doing nothing. So we can be kind of picky with who we partner with. So literally they're handing us the keys to the RV. We're putting it at our facility, whether it's a storage unit or the franchisee has their own location or property, and we're doing everything for them. It's completely passive.
For the RV owner.
For the RV owner, yes, sir.
And so they buy basically an RV, or they have one, and they just are like, oh, we're going to rent it out. And then you guys provide the services to do everything so they don't have to do anything. And they're like, do they get to say, well, I want my RV during these times, but then these other times I don't want it?
Yeah, we could definitely do that. It does get to a point of where you may not work with that owner anymore, just if they use it quite often, because honestly, I wouldn't encourage somebody to go buy an RV for us to rent it out, because it's completely different than storage, right? It's depreciating while storage is appreciating. So it's not like, hey, here's a good investment strategy for you. Go buy this $100,000 thing plus on wheels that, it's going to depreciate the moment you drive it off the lot. It's more, our program is more, hey, you own the RV, you're not using it.
Yeah.
Let's help you offset the cost of ownership, potentially even profit. Plus, now that they're renting it out, now they can depreciate it under the same tax code you can depreciate other things under. I think that's 178, 179. And yeah, so for them, it's passive. Their RV isn't just sitting there depreciating, rotting, doing nothing. And even like post-COVID, we've got a lot of people that are signing up for our program. We call it the principal paydown program. So basically, hey, we'll rent it out for you for 1 to 2 seasons, help you pay that principal down so you can actually get out of it now. Because unfortunately, during COVID, everybody went and bought an RV.
Yep.
And the dealerships are like, oh yeah, 0 down, 24-year financing. Come on in, we got you. And now the dealerships are competing with the consumers to sell RVs. So a lot of consumers are really upside down on their RVs. And so that's a lot of our business models helping these owners. Hey, let's get the principal paid down. And Mark actually found us because he bought a course on how to do this on your own, because we also just love educating consumers.
Yep.
I think that was the first course I bought from you, AJ, was kind of a course on how to do this. And then depending on, okay, do you want to do the work? Do you want it to be semi-passive, passive? And that's kind of same setup as us as far as the different options of how they want to operate.
Interesting. So how much money do individuals generate?
It's location dependent. Like Mark up in Wisconsin, he's open half the year.
Yeah.
You come down here to Orlando, where our location has a contract with Fort Wilderness. That thing's going in and out of Disney, all week long. So it's all over the board. And, you get in, we have a location in Huntsville, Alabama, where we're partnered with NASCAR, Talladega, Bonnaroo Music Festival, different events like that, where it could go to a NASCAR event and rent out for 10 grand, for 5-6 days. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on the location and how that location is serving its customers, because we call it real estate. It's not just somebody that's going camping at a campground. It's corporate events. During quarantine, it was mobile quarantine units. A lot of our inventory right now in Florida is sitting on the side of houses while they're being rebuilt, because funding just started getting released from insurance companies for the last round of hurricanes. So it's a house on wheels. So it's very multifaceted on how these can be.
So the franchise, or, you guys go and you rent the space from a storage unit, and then you go out in the market and try to find those people to bring and to provide the service for them, correct?
We do that. We also have some storage facilities, kind of the mom and pop shops, where we've gone to them and they're like, great, here, these RVs are just sitting around doing nothing. Let's do a promotion together and get these RVs cash flowing. We've had 2 storage facilities and 2 dealerships recently who have signed up because they thought, well, heck, we'll just incorporate this into our self-storage facility. We've already got our staff that's here overseeing the facility. We'll just incorporate this into what we're doing, and we'll make that extra revenue. Yeah.
So then the storage facility, like, how would that integrate to their systems? Meaning, is there like an online platform that people just go in, use, and it's just done, and then they get gate codes? Like, how do you incorporate that into it so you can have renters that are renting the RVs, but are not renters of the storage facility and access. How's that work?
Yeah, so basically what's going to happen is one of two scenarios is the RV is going to get delivered to the renter at the campground they're staying at. So a driver is going to come pick that up and pull it out of there. Or if it's a drivable RV in most of the situations, that boots on the ground operator is going to meet the renter there. They got to do a walkthrough of the RV, give them an orientation of how to use it, and then they're going to, send them off, which is another money-making activity as well, because then you have the renters who want to leave their vehicles and pay to have their vehicles sit there while they're out on vacation.
Okay. So as opposed to just the rent, though, then obviously that storage owner could participate and add another line of revenue for those on. So that's fascinating to me. Now you mentioned that a lot of people are underwater. What's going on right now in the RV world? And like, how does that affect your business model?
Yeah, most RV owners that we interact with, they've got to put about 20% down on their balance to be able to get out of that loan because they're underwater. And so for us, it's kind of created this blue ocean opportunity of there's that many more people that we can serve, so that's great for us. It's great that we have a solution for them as well, but it's created a tricky situation for the RV owner because they're competing with the dealerships who sold this mass quantity of RVs during COVID. So they're driving their prices down. So the RV owner has got to be more competitive to try and sell. And then on the other side of it too, there's this balance, right? Because the RV owner, especially if it's a drivable, where they've got a motor and it's going to be racking up mileage and depreciating through that, there's this fine balance of where, hey, yeah, let's rent it out. That's great. Let's generate some income. Let's pay down the principal, but you have to do it responsibly. So 2 years from now, you don't have an RV with 100,000 miles on it that you think, well, I paid the principal down 25 grand. Now I can sell it. Yeah, but you added that much depreciation, which is one of the interesting things we're seeing in this industry where education, right? Like you do a great job on, AJ, is educating your following. Is there's others that we compete with where they'll promote to their renters, hey, rent this RV on limited mileage because they're trying to get renters, but they're not protecting the RV owner because you can't throw an RV out there with unlimited mileage. And we don't cap out on mileage, but we have mileage fees that go to the owners. So the renter is allowed a certain amount of mileage per day and generator usage per day. And then they pay extra fees on top of that.
Now, how many RVs are currently in the system?
I think we've got about 400 RVs.
Nationwide at our location.
Yep.
And how often are those RVs taken out?
If it's a seasonal location like Mark's, they're probably going to rent, maybe 7 to 10 times in the season. If it's a year-round location, Arizona, California, Florida, they could do double, triple that pretty easily.
And do owners own multiple RVs? Like, are people buying RVs to do this?
If somebody's buying an RV to do this, it's going to be a towable RV because on the drivable, it's such a fickle balance to make sure that you're not depreciating it faster than you're putting the wear on it. So towables, yeah, you can rent that out for 5-6 years and you're fine. The drivables, the biggest thing with drivables is you need to have the exit strategy, which basically means you need to have an audience to get in front of to sell that unit. So it can be done. It's just a fine balance. Like our competitors on a nationwide scale, like have you heard of Cruise America?
Yeah.
So like Cruise America, they've got hundreds and hundreds of units around the country and they own all their inventory. And they're literally producing 300 to 500 units, brand new units per year. But they have an exit strategy. They have retail lots where they can turn around and sell them. So they have that full play where they can get out of their inventory to get into the new inventory. So as far as just Joe Blow consumer going and buying a drivable RV to rent it out for a couple of years to sell it,
yeah,
I highly discourage that.
Yeah. The business model is really for current existing owners. The business model, it is to get those owners to come in and agree to the rental to utilize because it's better for them if they're not using it or whatever they need. And then you're doing the management of all of it. And then you get the 50% for the franchise, your little location or whatever you're doing, right? And then you're getting those revenues, or it's split obviously with the owners. Now, what if I'm open up, like, so let's say I'm doing this on, you got a storage facility and somebody's like, oh, I'm going to do this so I can drive revenue. What liabilities do you hold or take over associated with the managing the rentals of this? I think of this maybe a lot like U-Haul.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so people have U-Haul locations, you're renting trucks. It's the same thing, just RVs, right? So what are the owners, if I own a storage facility and I want to do this, what is the liability that you have?
Yeah, so you'd have your liability that you have already in place for people coming and going from the facility. For this industry, same as Airbnb, Turo, there's a couple of providers, that have kind of risen to the top and created programs specifically for the rental industry.
Mm-hmm.
So we just partner with them as far as the renter does, driver verification, all that kind of stuff. They do a security deposit contract, obviously. And then the couple major providers out there offer the insurance for the damages, the liability, and then they have those niche specific, add-ons. You can get interior damage protection, and then you can get the funny things they offer nowadays, pet protection and, things like that. So yeah, there's industry insurances for this.
And you can basically, you mandate it.
Yeah.
So like whoever's paying for it and everything, you got to take it and then you buy your liability insurance. So a renter has to pay for insurance, I'm assuming. That comes with part of the deal. Like
yes.
You have to have your own, obviously, license, insurance, everything else. But then the owner of the location that's doing it, they need to have their coverage and insurance over it. How does it integrate with the access system for the locations? Like somebody goes to the website to rent an RV, then how did they get in and out of the facility? How's that work?
They're going to have to meet the boots on the ground operator.
Got it. That's when the boots on the ground. So they're actually meeting the operator. Yeah. Then they go in because the operator has the code, everything else, and they are the ones to get the access.
Yeah. They're going to do that walkthrough, or if it's a delivery, the driver's going to go in. That's already pre-screened for you to be one of your drivers. Yeah.
So at a storage facility, you could technically be the operator, or you could just basically allow an operator or lease out to utilize space and participate. Because like a lot of storage facilities, they have somebody on site that does U-Haul.
Yeah.
That's like their job. They meet them, everything else. So you could technically do the same thing as if it was U-Haul, allowing other people to rent RVs right through it. And then you have your employee that acts as that operator that manages that on a larger site.
Yeah, and we've actually had some storage facilities that we partnered with. We have the one in Orlando that just built a separate lot for us, and they're including things that's extra money maker for the facility, a dump station, and then we get charged to dump, a wash station, a propane refill station. So those are other potential revenue sources for the storage facility to offer those for our operator that's operating out of the facility.
Okay. Now, what is the revenue expectation? So if I'm in semi-seasonal place, it doesn't need to be the north, but it's just normal seasonality, right? Schools, things like that going on. And I have not a lot of spaces, but maybe it's 10. And so I want my manager to allot. Is there a minimum? Is it like, no, you need to have at least so much capacity, or we're not going to let you do it? Like, how do they become an operator? What is the requirements of them for volume? Like, is it you need a large amount? Like, I need to be able to have 20 renters or 100 renters, or is it I could do this with 5 spots for RVs? Are you a new self-storage investor and want to know what that facility is worth, what the risk is, how to underwrite it? Well, that's exactly what we do in a feasibility study. A feasibility study, we actually look at the market for you. We look at the finances, the underwriting, we show you where the upside is, the downside, and all the risk. That is actually what you can provide to banks to get capital and investors. It's a big worksheet which most banks actually require. So if you want to know what a storage facility is worth that you're looking at, come to us, follow the link in the show notes, and we will tell you.
Yeah, we like to see about 10 units within the first year for a franchisee. And then the business model is really kind of caps for those that are looking to do six figures. You can cap about 25 units and do really well. And we're getting our item 19. I don't know how much you know about the franchise world, but we're getting our item 19 done right now. So I
Yeah.
we'll be able to share more numbers here this year because we got our all that stuff in line to do. So we're excited to be able to share that. But the average rental that goes out is 6 days, and just on the nightly rental revenue for the franchisee, depending on if it's a towable to a drivable, they're going to get about $500 to $700 just off the rental revenue. And then there's all this additional revenue that you can make, so you can rent camping chairs and the list goes on and on and on. You can rent linens and kitchen kits and all the things.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, because this is a very interesting time where people are looking as lower demand comes in and, high interest rates, things like that. People are looking at reutilizing space. How can we do it differently? Especially a lot of people have had issues and stuff with things like U-Haul simply because they're a competitor. So people are like, wait, I'm literally using you and you have a facility right down the road. Like people start to feel weird about that.
That's brilliant of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. How's the outlook on the coming few years here with, let's say, high interest rates? People aren't buying RVs. What does that look for you guys? So do you guys think that that's a good thing for this business model, or is that going to create some challenges? And how would you overcome it?
Hey, Mark, you want to speak to that one? Because you've got that great report.
Sure. Yeah, I went, part of my due diligence with starting this business, I went and I got some market research reports just on the overall RV rental industry and where it's been going since 2020 to 2030. And it's pretty staggering because we just know that the RV industry has been growing and will continue to grow. But our market is really what Gar calls the other people's RVs, OPVR. So we're actually taking inventory from the consumers and using that as our product. So I go out to Facebook Marketplace and I just put in an RV and it's slammed. And that's probably where I get most of my consignments are people that, they don't use it much. It sits on their driveway. Is this something that I should really keep? Well, if we use it 2-3 times a year. So this is an opportunity for them to still use it a couple times a year, but actually offset their payments. So it's going to continue to grow. And as more people are getting into the RV rental space, we're just going to see it continue to grow.
Yeah, and we've also seen too, there's state, federal, private campgrounds being built all around the country, which is a great indicator for just the outdoor space and travel.
Yeah.
Right. So there's looking at it from that angle. A couple of our franchisees are actually RV dealerships.
Mm-hmm.
So they're taking their brand new inventory, putting it into rotation to rent out with us. And then they're able to put that back on their lot as used inventory because there's not a lot of used inventory sitting on the dealership lots because somebody who bought an RV, right, a year or two ago, 3 years ago, and now they want to trade it in to get another one. They've got to come to that closing table with 10, 15, 20 grand. So people are just holding on to these RVs. So The dealers are actually, we have a dealership in Byron, Georgia, that's a franchise of ours. All their inventory is just brand new units that they own. They're going to rent it out for 1, 2, 3 seasons, get the depreciation benefit, and then turn around and throw it on their lot as used inventory.
Yeah, there's another interesting trend that's been happening. Like over the last 20 years, we've seen the Airbnb and VRBO kind of grow that industry. But when people do it themselves, they realize, wow, this is a lot of work, and I can't do it with my full-time job. So what's happened now is we have these short-term vacation rental management companies popping up all over the place. And they're kind of taking it away from the owners, and they're doing the business. So this is the same model because they do have platforms that are out there for the peer-to-peer, and people will rent out their one RV. And then they realize after the first, second season, wow, this is a lot of work. I don't have time for it. Then they come to us. And so I have about a third of my fleet are people that tried it on the platforms out there and said, it's not for me. So then they'll give it to us to do the management. So we're seeing that trend as well. People are trying it. It's a lot of work. They'll give it to us to take it over.
That makes sense. Yeah, like I don't want to deal with this.
Yep.
And then you can have it literally sitting there. You can use it and say, oh, I'm going to use it that we're going to bring it back and then just go. And then you just get a check in the mail. And then it adds on to like the storage operators or everything else. It's a service that they can serve or, so there's three kind of different buckets where that fit can work out well.
Yep. There's basically three pillars as Gar was saying in our industry. The first place for us to really operate a franchise, we have to go out and look for the location. And typically it is a storage facility or it's some type of dealership. But the third pillar to that is the RV maintenance, RV techs, and some place where we can get that repaired between rentals if needed. So that part there, some of the storage facilities have a place where we can actually do that type of tech on site. So that's kind of a place where, do we have to haul it somewhere to an RV dealership for repair, or can we do that right on site? And we have locations, they've been various, like in Vegas, we have he's on a storage facility, but he also has a bay where they can repair the RVs in between rentals as needed. And there we just outsource for RV techs. There's a lot of mobile techs looking for jobs, and they don't always get the best pay at dealerships. So there's a great opportunity out there as well. So that's kind of the third leg that's out there that we work with.
Okay. How much has this industry grown over the last 4 years? Because I'm like, this has to be more of this isn't obviously, it's got to be relatively new.
Yeah. So the Airbnb of this industry, their name is RV Share, and they started in 2014. So just over 10 years. A year or so after that came the VRBO of this industry, Outdoorsy. And what happened is dealerships used to rent RVs. That used to be very common. You could go to a dealership and rent an RV. Well, they realized, hey, there's a lot more money in us fixing RVs than renting RVs. Mm-hmm. So, right, you drive by a Camping World and they have 40 repair bays. So that's their focus, is selling units and fixing them. So a lot of them got out of the rental space, created this void for many years. And then a gentleman went camping with his wife and he got home and he said, I'm going to rent my RV. And he realized, there's nowhere to put it. He created RV Share, which sold for tens and tens of millions, his shares several years ago. And I got in just in 2016, shortly after those two platforms launched.
Fireside has our own website platform, but like he said, RV Share and Outdoorsy, these are key partners that we work with together. So our units are on their platforms as well as ours in other spaces.
Yeah. It's a fascinating thing that I think obviously this is going to become more and more. We've seen it in all industries. Mm-hmm. I like the idea of a lot of these things because it gives options and opportunities for all the parties. You have a business opportunity. You have an opportunity for a storage facility. You have an opportunity for owners of RVs. And then you have an opportunity for customers. And it really works out nicely. It's customers want RVs, right? Owners who want to generate income, they may have bought it. Now they're like, I got to do something here, and then from there, we have storage facility owners who may go, I have empty RV space and I'm not getting a ton for it. So I actually want to, do something different. And then you have people that are like, hey, I want to start a business and I want to go out here. I don't have huge amounts of capital. I don't have all of these things, so what can I do that I can be, like you said, a management company where you're playing the in-between. I'm not buying the RVs. I'm not, so all of a sudden it's kind of this system that works out and it works for everybody. You're taking care of everybody's problem there. And two, you're creating opportunity for everybody. Yep. Renters, owners of RVs, storage facilities, and people that want to go down the entrepreneurship route to start a business. And it's simple enough to where everybody can get it. This is not complex. This is supply demand. Do you have people that want to rent RVs? Do you have space? What is the cost? What will people pay? What is the, what do we have to do? We have to have an owner. You got to get your insurance. You got to get your license. Okay. Then you have the management part. You got to meet people. You got to get them in the RVs. You got to it is simple enough to where people can understand and they can get it. It's not overwhelming to a point where they're like, how am I going to do this? Right. And so I think it's a great option. And I like, especially now, because you're right, a lot of people they've kind of got stuck in some of these situations with RVs, and that can be scary for individuals. Also, with that said, at interest rates at this level, people don't want to buy RVs. To go and buy RV in this kind of climate, a lot of people don't want to, but they're like, I still want to use one. Interest rates also hurt the industry. So the self-storage industry, if people aren't buying RVs though, and they're not storing them, then demand's down. But yet people still have RVs. And so it just, I really like it. It's a really cool thing as we were, talking about Mark, about this. I think that as people are looking for creative solutions on these different ways, but like storage people too, that idea of U-Haul, which people were like, we liked that. It made sense with our customer base and our utilization. I view it as the same thing. It makes sense if you have the space, what you're using for, if you can drive a higher ROI, right? Like, okay, this could be a good option. Maybe, may not be, but at the same time, it's more within your control. You're dealing with individual owners of RVs, right? You can put it in with your operations, yet you can have the framework and everything to do it. You don't have to feel like, oh, I'm going to U-Haul, who's literally my competitor, and I'm giving them all my information. They know everything, and they could go and turn around and build a storage facility down the road.
Yeah.
Right. And then really kill my business. So then they say, well, how can I add on other lines of revenue? And so it's, very, very unique. And I like the options.
I'd like to say one thing real quick here, AJ.
Yeah, go for it.
At your SSI event back in September, your dad did the storage tour on the last day, which actually we sponsored.
Yeah,
but
I was sick. I felt so bad. I was like, I called my dad. I'm like, I need your help. Like, you got to go. I'm dying right now. So he jumped in, which was awesome.
He was awesome. So, but we got into, with the entire group, a 20-minute conversation about RVs, because the whole backside of your facility there was up with RVs. And he says, they're awesome renters. They pay more. They usually book for a whole year, even though they might be gone for months, but they know if they don't keep it, they may not have it when they get back, right? So he said, they're awesome renters. So he was just talking about all the advantages. If you have space, rent it out to RVs and boats, because they've made, some of them, major investments, and they want to make sure they're taken care of and in a good spot. So that was excellent. And then Neil, who did a presentation there at the SSI, he threw up all these different models of different storage facilities that they're building. And a couple of them had RVs in the front. And he says they put them out there so people see them. And that's how they promote their RV rentals, because they show off their model RVs right there in the front of their location. So people are doing it. The opportunities are there. It just doesn't fit in your model.
Yep. I love it. So yeah, where can people go to learn more, if you guys wouldn't mind connecting people? Because I'm sure there's going to be people that are like, hey, I could use something like this, or I'm interested in it. Where can they go to talk to you guys?
Yeah, jump on our website, firesidervrrental.com. You can learn about the business opportunity. You can check out to rent an RV. You can throw your RV in the management program. And you can learn all about us. And then I'd love to send people as well to myrealestatestory.com. That's a free download of my book. And I love encouraging entrepreneurs. And so in that book there's a lot of my struggles, successes, failures, all the things that's, like you said before we started the show, AJ, is there anything off limits? And I believe as entrepreneurs, there shouldn't be anything off limits, because
I agree.
There's so much we can learn by sharing our struggles, sharing the stupid things we did, right? Mm-hmm. Not just our successes. So I love to send people there to get, and you can find that book on Amazon too, but you can get a free copy. It's myrealestatestory.com.
And we'll put those in the show notes. Guys, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. This was something, Mark, we were talking about. I'm like,
yes,
this is interesting. I want to talk about this more. I want other people to be able to hear this. I got a lot of questions, and I'd like to see. And so I generally think if I'm interested in it and I want to know more about it, our audience probably is too. So thank you guys for spending the time and coming on to tell us what you guys are doing and how this all works.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, AJ.
Thanks, AJ. Appreciate you.